Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. What I wanted to do today is I wanted to do just a really quick little flight test here with the Mavic Mini, because it's a really, at times, windy day today, and I wanted to see how it does just in higher winds at holding this position. This will be a rather brief little test. Now right now the wind is not too bad, but the forecast is calling for up to 28-mile-per-hour wind gusts today. My weather station was showing a peak of around 13 a moment ago. I'll try to include screenshots of that as proof. We'll take it up here. I want to get up at least as high as the top of my house at times, or even higher. But I'm not going to fly it very far away, because this thing is not going to be very good at fighting high winds, as my friend Marcus over Idaho Quadcopter found out in his video he posted recently, where he flew it out and it was struggling to make it back into a pretty strong headwind. So let's go take it up, hover it here. I can really feel the wind at my back right now, but I do need to kind of get up a little bit, because the homes here will kind of shelter some of this wind and make it not seem as bad. So my weather station's only 10 feet off the ground, so it always reads low. So it reading at 13 means it probably was gusting at least to 20, because the winds here are being blocked some by the houses. So let's go ahead and set it down here. I'll back up. I've got, looks like 10 or 11 satellites. I'll get more once we get up into the air here. So I'm not going to do any onboard footage or screen recording. We're just going to take it up, try to get it in my head cam and see how it does in these, 10 to 15, sometimes 20 even plus mile per hour wind gusts. So let's go ahead and do an auto takeoff. Go ahead and hold down. We'll take it up. Now I only have like half battery too, so we're not going to fly it very far. You can see it here. It hops a little bit, as you can see in the wind. Being so light, this is at a toy grade weight, not a toy grade drone. Don't confuse what I'm saying there, but it is at a toy grade weight. And for someone like me who flies tons of toy grade quadcopters, I know how they do in the wind. Even the GPS toy grade birds, which are usually brushed motors, and they don't do as well as this. They get thrown all over, because none of the toy grade GPS birds at this size have brushless motors. Now it's very steady now, because it's very, very calm. The winds have died down for just a moment there. So right at the moment we don't have much winds, but I'm just going to wait a moment for some wind gusts and we'll take it up higher. I'm up to 16 satellites. Once I get off the ground, even when I'm at 10 feet up, I get a lot better satellite lock. I got 39% battery, so I'm not going to be able to fly very long. I just charged it for maybe 10 minutes. I already had some juice in it. I don't like to, it's not good to constantly run your batteries down all the way to low too, but 39% is not bad. I just don't like to run them down all the time, but occasionally will not hurt it. Now I can see it's really bobbling there. Now I don't have any real-time data. My anemometer that Brian over at True Drone Review sent me has a dead battery, and I just don't have a button cell to put in it, so I don't have a way of taking a real-time wind speed at the moment. Let's just try to take it up here, up towards the top of those trees. I don't want to, if I get it too far away, we're not going to be able to get a good idea of how it's doing in this wind, because it's going to be too small of a dot at this size. This thing's like looking at a bird. It's doing really well. Now again, right now the wind is not too strong at the moment. It's coming in gusts. It's picking up some now. Out here over my street, actually, I can bring it a little lower, because the wind is coming out of the south. It's above 60 degrees today, so it's not getting obstructed by nearly as much out here. Yeah, it's doing really well, which I expected it would, but it's gonna hop, or kind of look like it's bouncing, and it's really fighting that wind. But as you expect with the DJI product, it's still, the flight controller is powerful. It's able to make those adjustments, and it just doesn't move much. For something this size, that's pretty incredible. We can see it here wobbling, a little hobbling, bobbling a little bit, but certainly nothing to be concerned about for a drone of this size. We're down to 31% battery, so I don't have a whole lot of battery anyway. I leave it 20%, you're gonna get your low critical battery warning. That's really nice. We're just in precision mode, or a position hold, I should say. That's what I believe, just your standard mode. We're not in the cinematic, and I'm not in sport mode. This thing just flies amazing. So back to that battery thing I mentioned too. I mean, again, it's not a good idea to always run your batteries down low every flight to try to get max flight time. But if you do, charge them back up a little bit. Try to get it halfway full, closer to storage voltage. You will get a much longer lifespan out of your batteries if you don't keep them all the way dead or all the way charged. This is not a smart battery. So you leave it fully charged for weeks on end, you're going to ruin the battery. Leave it all the way dead for a long time, you're going to ruin the batteries. It's okay to fly it dead, all the way down to 20% or less from time to time. Just don't do it every flight. But if you do it, just charge it back up some. Plug it into the USB in the back, charge it up till it's half full, and then unplug it, and you'll be good to go. We can see it's wobbling there. We've got another wind gust coming up, down to 26% battery. So it's not a super windy day today, but it's certainly windy enough that it would cause issues for most drones of this size. And this is doing really, really well. So obviously it's not like we're flying here in storm conditions or hurricane winds or nothing. But even in 10 to 15 mile per hour winds, that's a lot for most drones of this size. Man, this thing flies great. It just flies like you're flying a full-size Mavic. It's like I'm flying my Evo. It's awesome. But if you do get caught out of ways and you've got a headwind coming and for some reason the wind's picking up, first, put it in the sport mode so you get the most pitch and power, and just be patient. It's gonna make it back. It's just gonna take it longer than a big bird would. It's gonna take it longer than it would if you say you have a Mavic 2 or something. But if it's so windy out there that you're worried about making it back, well, it's too windy, you shouldn't be flying at all anyway. But in Marcus's defense, he was out over a kind of a hill or mountain, and the wind really picked up. All right, we got low battery here, so I'm gonna go ahead and land it. Go ahead and press land. So we are down to 19%. I don't want to keep running the battery down low, but I've only ran it down to 20% one time before. So of all my flights, this is only the second time, and that's perfectly fine to do that. Like I said, they allow you to go that low for a reason. Just don't do it every flight. But that wasn't the purpose of this video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this in. I'm going to let the battery cool down first, which is, don't charge a hot, warm battery. And then I'll charge it up to halfway or so that I'm keeping it at storage voltage, because with winter coming on, who knows, the weather changes so much. It could be days before I could get this thing back up in the air. But anyway, stability wise, right now the wind's let up quite a bit. We're getting wind gusts here in the 20 mile per hour excess range at times, and it did great. I didn't, as I expected it to, but it's going to wobble. It's going to do some of this, which is, even the big drones do. This one's going to be more prone to that just because it's so small, but man, this is a great drone. All right, guys, so that wraps up the quick little, high winds. I'll use high in quotes. It's not really high winds, but, higher winds than normal day stability test. Hope you enjoyed this little video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell, all that good stuff. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.